Hey guys, so I've been up and down the old gorge a few times in my day, and I've always seen the sign probably 100 times and wondered, what's this place look like? And I've never stopped. And here we are. I think we've got the old Bridge of the Gods there, and we're at Cascade Locks. So we've had quite a few comments about Cameraman Dusty and his little expose, if you will. My friend Dusty is a master of sarcasm. I hope you take his Cameraman vlogs a little lighthearted, because he's just fooling around. There's no way I would ever, you know, treat him like that and be mean to him. So I hope you know that's all in good fun. So anyway, had some comments, you know, about the shaky footage. Yes, we have some shaky footage. We apologize. But guys, this is elk hunting North Idaho. It's thick timber, brush, lots of limbs, and it's very difficult to navigate and to film in. And we talked during the hunt a lot. It's like, man, how do we get better footage that's not quite so shaky when we're running and gunning? And that's just the thing. It's aggressive run and gun style elk hunting, so we're on the move a lot, and sometimes making the right moves at the right times gets you right in the right position with that bull. And I don't know any other way to capture that and then have Dusty close enough to me to make sure he gets that shot. So a lot of times it's us busting through the brush. And you know, I could have definitely cut all that out, a lot of the shaky shots out, but I thought it was probably important for you guys to see the spirit of this aggressive elk hunting I'm talking about. You know, the moving up and screaming and moving up on these bulls aggressively, because if I just show you the steady parts with me standing still, you still probably may not get it, and I wanted you guys to kind of get the full experience. So if you're getting a little seasick during the show, I apologize, but that's kind of the nature of that style of hunting. So hopefully, you know, we're gonna work on trying to figure out a better way to do it, you know, next year. But I'm just glad we did capture some great stuff. Now, as far as Dusty pushing the record button twice, I had to feel for the poor guy. He came to me after our encounter with that bull was over, and he's like, "Ah, man, I have a confession. I pushed the record button twice, and I didn't get a segment of when that bull was in close." And you know, I felt really bad for him. I wasn't mad whatsoever. I felt bad for him, because I know he was beating himself up pretty good. I'm like, dude, I don't know a lot of guys in the videography business that haven't had that happen to at one point in their career. So, you know, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. Don't think nothing of it. Let's move on. It's not a big deal. We'll get more footage. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to talk about that. Okay, there was a question. One viewer asked, I don't see you using a GPS, Dirk. How are you navigating and getting back to your vehicle without getting lost? And what I'm using, guys, and you may not have seen it, was I'm using my cell phone, and I have a couple different mapping apps on my cell phone. One of which is new for me this year, is Basemap. And Basemap is a super powerful mapping tool for your phone. Not only does it have all the GPS capabilities, it has 10 or 12 different map options. So you've got Google Earth, you have several different satellite imagery maps, you have USGS, Topo. There's so many really cool map options in there, and it has the same features as some of the other apps out there. It's a really great tool for navigating the backcountry. So anyway, that's what I've been using the last couple of years, is my phone, and this year was Basemap. Okay, so I had a comment about getting kind of bored with watching back of my head walk through the brush and bugle, and it was kind of boring. So all I got to say about that is, hey man, this is public land, over-the-counter tag, elk hunting in a wolf-infested environment. Every day is not going to be Christmas morning. I'll admit, you know, there's some days that are going to be super boring, but I kind of wanted you guys to see the full experience, the reality of it. This is reality TV. This isn't some private land ranch where you're just covered up in bulls all day long and nothing but non-stop action. You know, this is your DIY blue-collared guy hunt, and I think it probably speaks to a really big majority of the people out there, and I hope those folks like it, because, you know, we're not trying to make something out of nothing. We're just showing you how it is. I've been elk hunting a long time, 30 years, and I do pretty well sometimes. And I want you guys too to know that it's not always stacked on bugling bulls and passing up shots on opportunities. It's a grind. It's tough, and sometimes you lose hope, and sometimes you get a little bit down that the hunt's not going the way you were hoping it was going to go. And I want to show those things, because to be successful in elk hunting in a normal man's game, and even some of the really target-rich environments, you have to stick with your process. You have to believe in what you're doing is going to work, because eventually it will work again. It's worked a couple times so far in the series, and it will work again, and I fully believe that as we went along. Though there were times I did despair a little bit and thought, maybe I was a fool to not shoot those bulls. But for those of you who are not bored, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And let's see, what else are we going to talk about here? Okay, last but not least, I want to talk about Doug Flutie. Okay, for those of you who are not familiar with Doug Flutie was a football player. And I'm not a sports buff at all, but I believe back in the 80s, and you guys can comment below and correct me if I'm wrong. So he just had kind of a unique name, Doug Flutie. A few years ago, born and raised outdoors, was hunting in Colorado, and they heard a real flute-like bugle, and they're like, we can't dismiss it as not being an elk. You never know, which I agree 100%. So they set up on this elk, this fluty-sounding elk. Turned out to be a guy, and I'm not sure which one of the guys said, but man, is that Doug Flutie? You know, because it was kind of a fluty sounding bull, so it was kind of the funny moniker, kind of stuck with getting Doug Flutied by being called in by another hunter. So I'm not trying to be a meanie. I'm not being disrespectful to the other people by calling him a Doug Flutie. I mean, and my apologies. It was my mistake right there, the first thing in the morning. You guys didn't see the part of the video right at first light when we heard a bugle in the distance, and we grabbed our stuff and moved closer. And by the time we got a lot closer, it's like, it's Doug Flutie. We've been Doug Flutie. So we got Doug Flutied, and he got Doug Flutied too. So I got a pretty good chuckle out of it. And I'm sorry we didn't capture that and share it with you, because it was a little bit confusing for everybody. But anyway, yeah, we're all hunters out there. We're all having a good time. It's public land. It's the nature of the beast. And sometimes you get Doug Flutied. And it seems like this year I got Doug Flutied a lot. So, but that's just the name of the game. If you don't want to be Doug Flutied, sometimes you got to just get way out there, away from the rest of the people. And we were hunting a little closer to the road this time, because with my bad chicken wing and such, I was having a hard time getting to some of those nasty remote spots. I was afraid I might slip and fall, and I didn't want to do that. So we kind of hunted a little closer to the road a lot of times this year. Oh, I had a question about not where to pack too. So this year was a little different. It was really cold, pretty wet all September. And I figured if we weren't going to get, you know, 15, 20, 30 minute hike from the truck, I could probably bonsai out, go travel quick and light, and you know, with a full rain jacket on, and sometimes rain pants. Man, it gets to be kind of a sauna. So a lot of times I didn't wear a pack this year, just from where we were hunting, and then just kind of the conditions out there. On a normal year, where we're probably going to wind up 3-4 miles from the truck, it's probably warmer, so we want to have all of our gear if we get an elk and want to break it down immediately. So that was kind of the difference this year. My one comment was, man, I wish I could hunt a little closer to the road like that. And sometimes, here's my opinion on that. Going deep, going far away from the road, it's fun, it's awesome, I love it. And I know everybody else does too. But you can't forget to pick the low-hanging fruit. Sometimes elk are within that first mile from the truck. I mean, so don't dismiss it as not a place to hunt. You can hunt real close, you know, to the truck in a lot of different places across the West, and still get into elk. So don't think you have to go 10 miles from the truck to ever get an elk to bugle, because you can get them to bugle a lot closer. And what I like to do, I like to pull over, park, wait for a while, you know, 10-15 minutes, get out, maybe hike out to a point, bugle off into a hole. Maybe if there's an old road, maybe walk out that old road a couple corners, a couple switchbacks, bugle, take my bow with me, just in case. Yesterday's hunt, that bull was 60 yards below the road when he started cracking off. So you never can tell when it's gonna happen. But it's just trying to be mobile, you know, trying to cover all the country that you can when you're in that wolf country, because elk get pushed around, they get stirred up, they may clam up in one area, and you may have to beat feet 20 miles somewhere else and take up the game again. So, and then leaving no stone unturned, you know. Just taking that little extra time to cover that country is kind of like the secret sauce. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you continue to enjoy the series. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.